Hello and welcome to the Penelope Possum channel with me, your host, Penelope the Possum, with new spooky lighting for the Five Nights at Freddy's. If I could get it to boot up. If not, I have a backup plan. As promised last time, we've got the spooky lighting, and I've got my funky little head bit on. So let's get straight into it. And I have 4 lives each time I get jump scared. Aloha! Isn't the lighting spooky? Purple light is not doing me any favors. Makes me look like a ill grimace. So we've got 4 lives. Each time I get jump scared, we lose a life until I die. Update on the scarf. It's getting very long. Lamau. Yeah. Anyways, enough of that. Let's get right into the Freddy Fazballs, yes? Bring that up a little closer. Probably just gonna end up muting the call because I don't need to hear it, I know.
Hello? Hello? Well, if you're hearing this and you made it to day 2, congrats. I won't talk quite as long this time.
We already know all the speeches. It's looking good, thanks. Okay, the plan is simple, boys. We're going to only check the camera when it's absolutely needed. I think my headphones are on backwards. My main question is, why wouldn't I, as the night guard, just have, like, a flashlight or my own portable light, like the bat I have here? Well, shit. That's bad. That's very bad. Oh, good. Oh, good. Like, bring a little flashlight and your own personal fan. fuck? Like, I would bring a portable light, a portable fan that runs off batteries and not the power. Actually, you know what? No, I wouldn't even take this job. The amount of money they pay for this job isn't enough. Oh. Ah, biscuits. I don't freaking like this, guys. I don't. Oh, hi, Chica. Okay, I'm halfway through the night. I've got... That's Chica in the kitchen. Chica's in the kitchen with Dinah. So I gotta be on the lookout for Chica and Bonnie right now. I should be fine on Freddy. Freddy Fuzzballs. If I do get past this night, probably gonna just go to... One life down. I swear I heard like things being said in the static almost, but that could just be people talking outside. This was a bad idea. I've got work tomorrow. Oh, yeah, at a certain point, if the character's been at the door for long enough, you can't close the door. I don't know why. You just can't. So you can honk the nose. Yeah, that's a common thing that happens in this game. Why does this room look taller than you'd think it would be? Ah, fuck. I almost got fucking Golden Freddy'd again. Gosh darn it. In this case, I'm also counting if I get Golden Freddy'd, aka the game crashing, as a death. And actually, I will lose all of my lives if I get Golden Freddy. That's another rule. Like, if Golden Freddy gets me... I'm going to quit the game because it will crash the game. There has to be like a difficulty selector with this or something. Yeah, I almost got by the Golden Fred boy. And who asked you? Oh, biscuits, I forgot to feed him. Where's Bonnie? Where is Bonnie? Bonnie the bunny be missing. If I die this time, I'm probably gonna go feed my cats real quick and then get back into it. Did Bonnie fall through the map? There's weird noises happening in my house right now, IRL. Okay, that's fine. This is fine. Yep, totally fine. Chica's near the restrooms. That's totally chill. Go away, Bonnie! You freaking asshole! Oh, fucking finally. Go die in a pit, you fucking bastard. Okay, that's Chica again. So keep an eye out for her. Where's Bonnie? That's Foxy. Hi, Foxy. Bye, Foxy. Fuck off. I'm so close, guys. I'm really close. I can tell. I can smell it. I can taste it. Go away, Bonnie. Nobody likes you. Arrgh! Oh, fucking finally. Okay. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. There's nothing. As long as no one else comes anywhere near here, I'm grand. Come on. No, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. I'm dead. I'm totally dead. I'm totally dead. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. And I'm gonna die really badly. And I'm gonna pee my pants. Come on. Please. 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 Possum. Save us. Save us, Possum. Save us. Go away. Please, I'm almost at 6 a.m. Go away. Oh, for fuck's sake. Go. Shoo. Go away. Nobody likes you. You were in an accident. You're... Yes! I did it! I beat night 2! Holy fucking shit. We did it! We did it! The possum provides! The possum provides! Holy shit! Okay, I gotta go feed my cats real quick. Holy fucking cow. Okay, I'm back. Holy cow. We beat night 2 of 5 Nights at Freddy's. I can't believe it. Anyways, since we are only trying to beat one night in a video, we're gonna go straight... Oh no. Well, I can always get them back. we're gonna find a few good videos, hopefully. Unfortunately, with Dr. Bob, we've watched pretty much all of his videos. Ba, 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 ba. Let's just add an IMR in there real quick. Good old IMR scary tales. Alright, I think that's a good spread for the last bit of the night. And we'll just watch these. Thank you to Dr. Bob, AMC Official, Fortress Films, The Volgun, and IMR Scary Tales for their videos. Shout out to them and to their channels, of course. We love Dr. Bob on this channel. He's our favorite SCP doctor because he's awesome. Content warnings for tooth-related horror, supernatural things, just a general, if you're made uncomfortable by anything specific, probably just, sit out on this. Anyways, enough yapping. Let's get into reacting. That one
Find
must work.
something blocking your vision. Are those teeth? Human teeth? Growing out of your eyes? Oh no.
Let me turn up the volume. Let me know if you can't hear.
You open your eyes, only to find something blocking your vision. Are those teeth? Human teeth? Growing out of your eyes? Oh no. Oh God, no. Taking the subway can be a real hit or miss experience. On one hand, it's cheaper than driving, especially with gas prices these days. It's convenient, eco-friendly, and removes any potential stress about where to park. But it can also be hot, poorly maintained, and worst of all, it's filled with the public. These are the thoughts running through the woman's head as she stands on the subway on the way home from work. She holds onto a nearby pole for balance, struggling to maintain a bubble of personal space as a steady stream of new passengers climb on at each stop. She can feel her chest tightening with anxiety, and she takes a deep breath to loosen the stress. Just a couple more stops to go, and then she can get out of here and retreat to the comfort of her apartment. The train car slows down, and the doors open for the penultimate stop. Great! After this one, she'll be home free. Of course, more people climb on. Everybody has places to go, she reminds herself. It's fine. But as one pale, jumpy-looking man crowds a little bit too close to the pole she's holding, she feels her anxiety levels spike again. Why won't he just respect her personal space? Come on, buddy. It's a crowded train, but there's enough room to take a step back. She's working up the nerve to say something when the train jerks suddenly, starting back up. The sharp motion sends the man rocking forward, and he bumps into her, hard. She feels a sudden sharp pain in her hand, and looks down to see a speck of blood. Seriously? She swears at the strange man, unable to help herself. He glances down, and his eyes widen. He apologizes profusely and backs away from her, unmistakable terror in his eyes. A bit of an overreaction, she thinks. She just yelled a bit. It isn't as if she was going to hurt him. But he pushes through the crowd, moving away from her, and she doesn't care to follow. The train slows, and the doors slide open again. Thank goodness, her stop. She shoves her way out of the train car as fast as she can and doesn't slow down until she's unlocking the door to her apartment. Time to tend to the weirdest injury she's ever gotten. She disinfects the wound on her hand and begins to apply a bandage. Now that she's slowed down, she can get a better look at it. She had assumed the guy's keys had poked her or something, but now, examining it more carefully, it looks kind of like a bite? Did he have some kind of animal up his sleeve or something? It all happened so fast, she couldn't really tell. Better to be safe than sorry. She'll go get a rabies vaccine tomorrow. With that plan in place and a bandage applied to her hand, she quickly forgets about the hellish subway ride, the nervous man, and the strange bite.
Now, knowing the SCP Foundation, do you think this lovely young lady writing off this strange man and the odd occurrence with the bite is going to end well, or do you think it's going to end poorly?
The next day, she gets her rabies shot and puts the whole bizarre encounter out of her mind for good. And it stays there, out of sight and out of mind, until about a week later, when her gums begin to ache. It starts with a twinge, a bit of discomfort one morning that wakes her up before her alarm. But as the day goes on, the ache grows more and more difficult to ignore. She finds herself chewing on her pen during meetings, alleviating the itching, painful feeling in her gums with the pressure of it. A few days later, it's all she can think about. She half considers picking up one of those hard plastic rings for teething babies. At that point, she realizes it's time to go to the dentist. They'll know what to do.
What is that creature there? It looks like a potato with legs, but it also looks like it might be one of those dopey little Christmas decorations. Is it supposed to be a Rudolph the reindeer, but horribly disfigured? Because that's what I'm thinking.
But when the dentist leans her back in that adjustable chair and peers into her mouth, he is just as clueless as she is, perhaps even more so. She's presenting symptoms of a condition known as hyperdontia, he explains. She is, at the age of 30 years old, growing new teeth. Not wisdom teeth that are coming in, but a whole new row of teeth just behind the ones she already has. He advises her to come back in once the teeth have grown in.
Yeah, that's actually a real condition that affects some people, and it can affect you later in life. Is hyperdontia, where your skull starts producing new teeth like some kind of nightmare shark. Just a moment, dog is barking. I'm back. Possum provides us with protection from evils.
In all the way, and they can discuss next steps then. She calls
Lucky
in sick to
plushie,
work the next
baby.
day. She lies and tells them it's the flu. How could she explain the truth? But at least there's a solution in sight. The dentist will help her figure out what to do next. And surely this will be the worst of it, right? Unfortunately, she
I'm
couldn't
still
be more wrong.
distracted by that little
When she wakes up the next
plushie
day,
in the
she notices
background.
some difficulty breathing through her nose, accompanied by a feeling of discomfort in her nostrils. Oh great, is she actually sick now? She goes to blow her nose, but nothing comes out. She rubs at her nostrils and is startled by a sudden sharp pain and the sensation of something solid in there. What the hell is going on? She rushes to the bathroom mirror, tilting her head back to get a better look. When she can make out what is blocking her nostrils, her jaw drops. Teeth. They're smaller than the
There's
ones in her
teeth
mouth
in her
and
nose.
somewhat obscured, but there's no doubt about it. Little rows of teeth have erupted inside of her nose. She calls her dentist and schedules an immediate appointment. She struggles to explain on the phone, but no matter what words she chooses, she knows the doctor won't truly understand until he sees her condition with his own eyes. And when he does see it, he can't stop himself from crying out in shock. This is no ordinary case of hyperdontia. This
Yeah, no
is something
shit,
else
buddy.
entirely, something that should be medically impossible. Seeing the appearance of teeth inside of the woman's nose, the dentist decides to perform a thorough examination of the rest of her face and head. Much to his and her horror, he finds small teeth beginning to erupt in her ear canals too. He warns that if they are not
So I actually already watched this earlier to make sure, not be too weird. Or at least just weird enough that the creepy isn't outshadowed. And I think I hit a pretty good mark here.
removed, they could cause permanent damage to her hearing. There's no doubt about it. For the sake of her well-being, the dentist must perform the strangest extractions of his career. The woman is given an anesthetic, and he gets to work. By the time he is finished, the dentist has pulled 36 teeth of varying sizes and shapes from her mouth, nose, and ears. It was a harrowing affair, but at least it's over. He prescribes pain medication, an antibiotic, and some time off of work, and advises the woman to give him a call if she experiences anything like this again. Neither of them will say it aloud, but they're both privately terrified that she'll have to come back in and do it all over again. For the next few weeks, the woman feels like she's back to normal. She's a bit shaken up by the experience, a bit exhausted, but otherwise it all seems to be resolved. Then the aches start up again, not just in her gums this time, but in her ears, in her nose, and more terrifying of all, in new places too. She can feel them, the germs of new teeth growing under the surface in between her fingers and her toes, even in her eyelids. The feeling was unpleasant and distracting before, but now it is absolute agony. She can barely dial the telephone to contact her dentist, but she manages to call him and drag herself down to the office. At first, he doesn't want to believe it, but then he performs an X-ray. The images that come back turn his stomach, and he nearly vomits onto the floor. He can see them clear as day. Teeth, 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 growing everywhere the woman feels that unique ache, the building pressure of something struggling to grow, ready to burst through the skin and be born. More teeth in her mouth, and teeth in her eyes, her ears, all over her body. Even if he extracts every tooth again, even if he plucks out each new growth, there will be more waiting to replace them. Unsure of what else to recommend, he advises the woman to check herself into the hospital. Whatever her affliction is, it has progressed beyond his capabilities. Weeks later, the woman is lying in her hospital bed, weak, exhausted, barely able to move. Her skin is dotted with teeth. Her doctors tried to perform surgery to remove some of the teeth before they could erupt, but the incisions became tiny mouths filled with even more teeth. Now, they've all but given up. She can barely open her eyes to get a look at the strange figures that enter her hospital room, promising to help get to the bottom of her condition. They're scientists, they say, and they specialize in unusual conditions like hers. This poor, unfortunate woman is considered the first recorded patient to be infected with SCP-2450. SCP-2450 is an infectious disease, the most notable symptom
I
of which
see that
is the
golden play
manifestation
button
of
back there,
severe
Dr.
hyperdontia
Bob.
in unusual parts of the body. The initial source of the infection has been traced to the location now known as Building 2450, a former men's bathroom and a company service station off of a major motorway in the United Kingdom. It is unknown exactly how the infection is transmitted, but Level 5 HAZ suits have been ineffective at containing and preventing.
I'm going to stop it here, mostly because this isn't the most interesting SCP. Basically, this is fatal. There's no way to cure it as far as they can find. And you either die from, the calcium deficiency that would obviously happen because of all the teeth growing in your fucking body. Like, imagine that. Like, these are teeth, like actual real teeth. So they need calcium to grow. They're gonna get that calcium from your bones. So you either die from the lack of the certain nutrients that calcium and whatnot provide, or you live taking a bunch of, vitamins. Yeah, it's not nice. This also comes with a supplementary item, a toothbrush that can brush away teeth. I'm not joking. Like, it can literally down to the roots and pulp and just delete your teeth. Have a tooth somewhere you don't want it? Poof! Gone. No more tooth. Tooth gone. No pain. No surgery. No marks. Nothing. It just into the ether. Yeah, this is probably one of the more disturbing Dr. Bobs we've seen. This one is Tarot by AMC Official.
Alright. What does the future hold in store for me?
Excuse me.
Okay.
So, in case anybody doesn't know what Oracle or Tarot cards are, they're essentially these funny little cards that have illustrations on them that are supposed to be able to predict your future through a specific ritual.
That doesn't necessarily mean that's bad. Huh.
You can find them in card shops and other places, and they're usually for edgy teenagers. Yeah, the kind of edgy teenagers that would have listened to Evanescence and,
Okay, let's try that again. What does the future hold in store for me?
You're usually supposed to get someone else to pull your cards for you, and you're supposed to shuffle them beforehand. But as we can clearly see, the card shop that sold this to her is clearly just having a bit of a laugh. This one's more funny than scary in my opinion. Because, like, if I bought a card deck like this...
Did someone mess with my cards? I guess it's just you three. What does the future hold in store for me?
Yeah. I do want this deck of cards, though. This is a cool deck of cards. I like the art style. It's very Tim Burton-esque. Of course, her name's fucking Scarlet. That's such an edgy teenage girl name. Don't mind me, just working on my scarf while this chick trips absolute giraffe balls. Look at that face and tell me that's threatening in any way, shape, or form. If they kept her face hidden completely the entire time, I would have actually been more scared. But they showed her face, and her face looks like a divorced 30-year-old lady. Like, it's not scary. Where's the scary? And we've got Entropy 02 Reloaded SFM by Fortress Films. We've got Combine, classic imagery, red and green or blue, okay. Another Combine. I see, okay, switching between the two. This has very Amisis blue vibes, I think? No, not at all. Hi, G-Man. I'm gonna be completely honest, I have no fucking clue what's happening right now. So I'm guessing the different looks of the combines are different levels of the combine. I don't know. Or yellow. Aperture. Like portal? Oh yeah, there's some definite links between Aperture Laboratories and Black Mesa Sciences. Both Portal and Half-Life reference the other IP at some point, I believe. So canonically, after Shell escapes Aperture Laboratories, she could very easily go to Black Mesa Laboratories if she knew where it was. I think it's somewhere in New Mexico? I think it's supposed to be roughly in the same area where Area 51 is supposed to be in real life. I don't know. Poor little turret. This one's not scary either. I think it's just weird. Okay, so that literally made no sense to me. We're just saying something because we watched Mises Blue and tried to derive some kind of meaning from that, I think. There was absolutely nothing I could gather from any of that. I think that's a trailer for the next project. Hopefully it'll make more sense as it comes along. Oh, this one's by the Volgun.
Warning. Advisory. You have been exposed to counter-meme Bethos Hartman. Should you not complete your viewing of this file within 30 minutes, please re-expose yourself to counter-meme Beathos Hartman. Failure to re-expose yourself will result in a Class 3 information breach and require mandatory issuing of Class C amnestics. Do not expose yourself to counter-meme Beathos Hartman more than 3 times in a 3-hour period.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Miller, and the SCP we're going to be looking at today
Not as cool as
is
Dr. Bob.
SCP 2007. Object Class, Keter.
Dude wants to be Dr. Bob so
Special
bad.
Containment Procedures. 314 receivers tuned to 31.222 kilohertz are to be equally distributed around the globe for the purpose of receiving transmissions. Receivers are to be constantly active. Automatic software is to continuously decrypt, analyze, and log transmissions associated with SCP-2007 activity. In the case that a message
I
is
heard
received
something
within
behind me.
statistically
That's
accepted
scary.
parameters of an SCP-2007 emergence event, the 2007 instance linked to the event is to...
I was hoping this would be slightly more interesting, but it turned out to not be very interesting right off the bat. Can we get a little bit closer to the actual meat and potatoes? Gonna speed it up a little bit.
undergo procedure Lambda Aleph as soon as possible. In the case that a message is generated with unusual or anomalous characteristics, it is to be flagged for later review by Foundation data analysis. In order to facilitate successful implementation of procedure Lambda Aleph, Mobile Task Force Aleph subunits 78 to 110 are to be stationed in areas without rapid response capabilities by other Mobile Task Force units. Mobile Task Force Aleph personnel who conduct procedure Lambda Aleph are to be rotated out of duty for at least 4 months so as to avoid overexposure to amnestic agents. Mobile Task Force Aleph subunits 1 to 77 are to supplement and to reinforce existing Mobile Task Force elements, but are to treat procedure Lambda Aleph orders as priority, regardless of circumstance. In the case that the Mobile Task Force subunit conducting procedure Lambda Aleph is compromised and no other subunit can respond, or in the case that the SCP-2007 instance leaves the detection threshold with all responding Mobile Task Force units having lost contact, sterilization of an area within radius 200 meters from the last known location of the SCP-2007 instance is to be conducted by conventional bombardment. Sterilization of any larger area must be authorized by at least one Level 5.
Okay, buddy, you're really just reading off the wiki. He's literally just reading off the wiki. At least Dr. Bob tries to make it a little fun by adding a little bit of flavor into it. But this guy's literally just monotonely reading off of the wiki. It's not very fun. I think we might have to knock the Volgun off of the channel list. Because he is not very entertaining. Not a very entertaining man. Now, we've got classic IMR scary tales. Our beloved spooky scary Saturday Stronghold. Yeah, we're gonna have to get rid of the Volgun. I'll do that after the stream. This is IMR Scary Tales 2 True Honeymoon Stories animated. We'll put it to normal speed back. VMR. I think you meant IMR. Let's go.
Our honeymoon in Vegas was supposed to be a celebration of our quirks, a toast to our mutual love for the macabre and gothic. When we found a horror-themed suite in an offbeat Vegas hotel, it seemed like destiny. The room was draped in velvet, walls lined with vintage horror movie posters and eerie, lifelike statues that could make you jump if caught by the corner of your eye. Mark and I,
figured.
both ardent horror enthusiasts from Boston, were thrilled.
It's like stepping into another world.
I told him. The first sign that something was off came when we met the
Oh
hotel
my
clerk during
God.
check-in. He was a gaunt figure.
Hold up, let's get a better
I told
freaking
him.
look at this.
The first sign
Let's get a look at this
that something was off.
specimen. Okay, first off, my guy has a shoe nose. My guy's nose looks like a whole ass shoe. His eyes look like camera lenses somehow. Or those really creepy doll eyes, you know, the ones, the like doll bear eyes. The ones where they look like they're always following you all around the place. Those ones, that's what his eyes look like. Man's got flipper hands, no thumbs to be found. If your hands are flat on a table, you'd be able to see your thumbs. Dude's ears look like they're backwards? Like, am I the only one who thinks bro's ears look like they're backwards? No hair on his head. Almost no hair on his head. The stuff that is there should be shaved off. Dude should just go bald. Yellow teeth. Very strong and prominent chin that makes me think of medieval royalty, let's say. Like, he looks inbred. He looks very inbred. Also, he's green?
Off came when we met
Like, bro looks like the Green Goblin.
at the hotel clerk during check-in. He was a gaunt figure, his skin sallow and eyes a bit too bright. Enjoy your stay, and remember, not everything is as it seems, he said with a cryptic smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. We laughed it off, attributing it to the hotel's ambiance. That night, as we settled in, the suite's charm morphed subtly into something more sinister. It started with the lights. They flickered erratically, casting shadows that seemed to writhe along the walls. Probably just bad wiring, Mark said, but his voice held an edge of uncertainty. Around
There's people
midnight, the
fighting
real
outside
terror
my
began.
window.
The sound system, which we hadn't touched, blared to life, filling the room with the haunting sounds of a vintage horror film score. Mark went to turn it off, but the system was unresponsive. Then, the figures around the room seemed to shift slightly, as if coming to life. We chuckled nervously, trying to shake off the unease. But then we heard the first real scare. A loud, deliberate bang on the door. Mark cautiously approached and opened it, only to find no one there. As he turned back, the air filled with a sinister, guttural laugh from the sound system, sending chills down my spine.
We should have stayed at a normal hotel.
I half joked, trying to lighten the mood, but Mark didn't respond. He was staring at something behind us. I turned to see one of the statues, its head now unnervingly turned towards us, eyes that seemed too lifelike.
That wasn't like that before, was it?
I whispered, my heart starting to race. We decided to call the front desk, but the phone line crackled and died the moment I picked up the receiver. That's when panic truly set in. The room grew colder, and the statue seemed to inch closer every time we looked away. We huddled together on the bed,
spooky.
watching as the door handle began to turn slowly. Mark grabbed the nearest thing,
Pepper, could
a
you
heavy
chill out
lamp
out
ready to
there?
swing. The door creaked open, revealing the silhouette of a man, the same hotel clerk from earlier. But now his eyes
Oh,
were
what is
wild,
that walking?
his mouth twisted in a horrifying grin. Welcome to the real horror show. Hope you have a good ride, he hissed, stepping into the room with an unsettling calmness. His hands were empty, but his presence was threatening enough. He began muttering to himself about needing to purge the impurities and how we were the perfect tribute. Mark lunged at him with the lamp, catching him off guard and knocking him back. The clerk scrambled up, his face contorted in rage, and hurled himself at Mark. They crashed into one of the statues, sending it toppling over with a crash that echoed through the room. I screamed, trying to pull the madman off Mark, but he was surprisingly strong, his fingers digging into Mark's arm, drawing blood. He then licked his bloody hands. "Ooh, salty. I bet her blood tastes better," he shrieked, spit flying from his mouth. The fight was brutal and desperate. The hotel clerk, with his deranged strength, seemed nearly impossible to subdue. Mark grappled with him, trying to use his own weight to pin the man down, but the clerk's madness lent him a terrifying frenzy. Amidst the chaos, I spotted a shard from the broken statue. With no time to hesitate, I grabbed it, my hands trembling.
What if this guy really
Get
was
off him!
I yelled, my voice hoarse with fear. The sharp edge of the shard
normal.
glinted in the flickering light as I swung it, managing to catch the clerk on his forearm. He howled in pain, the sound so animalistic it froze my blood. The distraction was enough. Mark shoved him off, and we scrambled away, positioning ourselves between the door and the madman. Blood, both Mark's and the clerk's, stained the ornate carpet, adding a grim reality to the horror-themed decor. The clerk, clutching his bleeding arm, glared at us with unhinged eyes. "It's just a show, fellas. It's so unusual to have such gorgeous couples like yourself grace this little abode which I built, an ode to the macabre. How do you like this, sweet? Oh, wait, you haven't seen my collection yet. Fingernails. When you die, your skin shrinks, so your hair and nails keep growing, love. Oh, I have collected some brilliant fingernails. Dark, muddied, bloodied. Come on, love. Come with me. Let me show you my precious collection. Walk with me." He screamed, his voice echoing
What
unnervingly
kind of
around the
drugs is
room.
this guy
His
on?
demeanor shifted then, as if he were listening to some unseen advisor. His next words were chillingly calm. "Oh, babe, don't worry. You'll become a part of the collection, too."
We're leaving and we're calling the police.
I declared, my voice steadier than I felt. I had to bluff, as our phones were dead, and the room seemed designed to be a trap. Mark nodded, moving slowly to the door, never taking his eyes off the clerk. "Come near us again, and I swear I'll finish this," he growled, the threat clear in his tone. The clerk seemed to consider this. Then, with a disturbing smile, he backed away, disappearing into the shadows of the hallway as if he could melt into the darkness itself. We
So
didn't
weird.
wait to
I gotta know what this guy's deal is.
see if he would return. Grabbing our essentials, we bolted from the room, not stopping to look back until we reached the lobby. Breathless and disheveled, we burst into the brightly lit front desk area, startling the night manager. Our story tumbled out incoherently, but the sight of our injuries and our genuine terror convinced him to call the police immediately. Officers arrived within minutes, their presence a stark relief against the night's horrors. They listened intently, their expressions growing graver by the minute. Upon searching the hotel, they found the clerk in a hidden room behind the reception area, surrounded by monitors displaying various rooms, not just ours. It turned out he had been watching and recording guests for months, his psyche deteriorating into madness, fueled by an obsession with horror and surveillance. The resolution came swiftly after that. The clerk was arrested, his room of horror sealed off as evidence. We were treated for our injuries and given a new room in a different hotel, this time a brightly lit, cheerful place that couldn't be further from our original nightmarish choice. In the aftermath, Mark and I clung to each other, our honeymoon forever marked by the ordeal. Yet through that terror, our bond had only strengthened, a stark contrast to the darkness we had endured. We had survived the suite's horror, but more importantly, we had survived it together. As we finally settled into sleep, the first calm night since our arrival, I realized the true depth of our vows. In sickness and in health, in horror and in peace, we were united. And nothing, no psycho, no horror-themed nightmare, could ever change that.
Alright, this should be
It
the
was supposed
last This is gonna be the last story / video of the night. So, I think we can take from this a good lesson to always check the reviews of any places you're gonna stay at.
Be our paradise, a secluded villa on the shores of Kauai, the kind of place you see in a glossy travel magazine. My husband, Ben, had found this gem tucked away from the usual tourist spots, promising privacy and romance under the Hawaiian stars. That first evening, as the sun dipped into the ocean, painting the sky with streaks of orange and pink, I remember feeling like the luckiest woman in the world. But then it began, our nightmare. Subtly at first, an art so perfected by our tormentor that at first we mistook his signals for mere coincidences. It started with a rustling outside our bedroom window, a whisper of movement that vanished when I pulled back the curtain. Ben joked. It was probably just a curious gecko, but my feminine sense told me that something was off.
Heckin' geckos.
We found the first gift the following morning, right on our doorstep. A seashell, but not the kind one picks up as a souvenir. It was jagged, broken, stained with something dark that I hoped was mud, but deep down I knew it was dried blood. Ben tried to laugh it off, to ease the tension that clung to the morning air, but his smile didn't quite reach his eyes. The seclusion of the spot meant that the staff was scarce as well. There was a storm, which was predicted, so they said there would be disturbances. We did want to be alone on our honeymoon after all, so we didn't mind either. That night, the real terror took form. We were awakened by the sound of tapping on the glass. Standing at our window was a figure, masked with an ancient-looking tiki mask, its eyes hollow, its expression frozen in a grotesque grin. The mask wasn't just eerie, it was a relic, imbued with a sinister energy that seemed to reach out towards us. Ben shouted at the man to leave, his voice filled with a mix of anger and disbelief. But the figure only tilted its head, as if amused, then quickly vanished into the darkness. I tried to call the staff, but the storm had rendered our room phones useless. The seclusion also meant that there was no signal, so we were unable to use our mobiles either. We were cut off, isolated, and I could feel panic threading through my veins like ice. And then it grew worse, more personal. We found photographs of us sleeping, laid out on the living room table. Each picture was marked with a red X, and on the back, scribbled in shaky handwriting, were the words, "Too much happiness, must correct." How did he break in? We weren't safe and had to leave, but the storm grew fierce, so we decided to wait the night out. As the night bled into deeper darkness, our bedroom door slammed shut by an unseen force. We tried to open it, throwing ourselves against the wood, but it wouldn't budge. Then, the air around us thickened, choked with the scent of something burning. Smoke began to seep under the door. I remember coughing, the air razor sharp in my lungs. Ben's face blurring through my tear-filled eyes as we realized that the psycho was trying to smoke us out. "Stay low!" Ben coughed out, pulling his shirt over his nose. We crawled to the bathroom, the only room without windows, the heat from the fire licking at our backs. Inside, we filled the bathtub with water, the sound deafening in the enclosed space. Meanwhile, the man's psychotic laughter echoed through the villa, a sound so unhinged it made my skin crawl. Ben found a small vent, a possible escape. He boosted me up, but as I climbed, a hand grasped my ankle. He was in the bathroom. I screamed, kicking frantically, feeling the psycho's grip tighten. Ben hurled himself on the psycho and...
What even?
pinned him to the wall before breaking and shoving me toward the vent again, blocking the psycho's next attempt to grab me. "Go, Leia! Get out and find help!" His voice was rough with smoke and desperation. I crawled through the vent, emerging outside, gasping for breath. My heart pounded against my ribs, fear and adrenaline urging me forward. behind me, the villa burned, a beacon in the night, and I knew that if I didn't get help soon, Ben would make it out. Barefoot and desperate, I ran along the beach under the pelting rains, the cool sand in odd contrast to the heat that still radiated from my skin. The villa, our supposed paradise, was a fiery silhouette against the night. The psycho had set it on fire, its flames reflecting off the ocean like warnings I wished we'd heeded sooner. I had to find someone, anyone. My mind raced with images of Ben, alone and facing the madman. The thought pushed me faster, every breath a mixture of salt air and fear. I stumbled upon a small fisherman's shack, its windows dimly lit by the flicker of an old oil lamp. I pounded on the door, my knuckles raw, shouting for help. An elderly man opened the door, his eyes widening at the sight of me, disheveled, injured, wet, a wild panic carved into my face.
Please, you have to help me. My husband is back there. There's a man trying to kill us.
My voice broke, the terror of the night overwhelming me.
Oh my goodness. Why did this happen?
Without a word, the old fisherman grabbed a radio, barking into it rapid Hawaiian. He then ushered me inside as his daughter came out and ran out into the storm. As we waited for what felt like eternity, I heard it again, that chilling, unhinged laughter. It drifted down the beach, carried by the winds. My blood froze. He was coming. The psycho had followed me. I peered out the window, catching the glimpse of the tiki mask among the shadows. He was close, too close. The fisherman saw him too and stood outside, a sturdy old harpoon in hand.
Dang.
His calm demeanor was the only thing that kept me from succumbing to utter panic. And then, there he was, the psycho, his mask now cracked, revealing glimpses of a scarred face twisted in fury. He screamed, a sound so filled with madness it seemed to shake the walls. "You can't escape love! The gods demand it!" He howled, lunging forward with a rusted machete that glinted in the lamp's light.
In the same
fisherman reacted swiftly, thrusting the harpoon with a practiced hand. It struck the psycho in the shoulder, pinning him against the wooden frame of the shack. The psycho shrieked, the sound animalistic, but he was trapped. And then, the fisherman landed 4 or 5 massive punches on his face, making him unconscious. Just when the old man was done tying the psycho's hands, we heard sirens, the sound more beautiful than any music I could imagine. Police flooded into the shack, securing the psycho, who was now laughing and crying in turns, speaking in tongues or maybe ancient Hawaiian. It was impossible to tell. They rushed me back to the villa, just in time to see firefighters dousing the last of the flames. I found Ben outside, supported by paramedics, his face soot-streaked and a broken arm, but alive. We collapsed into each other's arms.
I was worried good old Benny boy was gonna be Daddy boy.
The relief a tangible thing between us. Later, we would learn that the psycho was once a respected historian of Hawaiian culture, driven mad by the loss of his family lands to developers. His mind had fractured, his grief manifesting in a delusional crusade to cleanse the island of outsiders. As we left Hawaii, the island's beauty now marred by our horrific memories, Ben squeezed my hand. "We survived," he whispered, the weight of those words heavy in the air.
Well, dang. That was certainly something. I think we did pretty good this week. I'm gonna end it there for tonight. Thank you all for joining me on this spooky, scary Saturday. And, I'll catch you all next time on Thursday. Or not Thursday, Tuesday. Yeah, horrible honeymoons. But good night. Good fright. Good night, Possum. Thank you for the congratulations. And we will come back Tuesday where we're probably going to do more work on Palworld. Probably going to look for some more eggies. And probably even invest some ancient tech points into getting the electric egg incubator. Good night.